And welcome. This video was just to document the current layout of what we're getting ready to replace. You saw in the previous videos that we've decided to go with LiPo 4 cells, but what you see here on the benches right now are 3 strings of AGM batteries. And these batteries are about 3 years old at this point, and they've served us well. They've done quite a good job, but they have developed an issue that I have emailed the manufacturer about and waiting to hear a response. But on this particular battery, you see 2 sets of terminals. You'll see a set of terminals that allows you to bolt down a cable, like you see here, and you'll see another set of terminals that's the traditional battery style of cable. And what's happening is, and you can see it, and the reason why you see the paper towels kind of stuffed in here to keep it under control is that it will started to kind of seep right at this negative post here. And that's the other reason why these batteries are being replaced, is that again, my battery banks are inside the house versus outside, so you got to have something in here that you can trust to be in here that won't develop an issue. And that's the reason why we went with AGMs in the first place, is to be able to have a battery in here that wouldn't off gas, because they are designed to kind of recirculate that gas internally and kind of reabsorb it, as to my understanding. And like I said, for the last 3 years they have worked, and they have worked quite well, but they're getting to the point they're showing their age. And this little leak that you see here, and all the batteries are doing it at this point, or at least the ones on this top bank are, and they're starting to develop this same behavior. And the towels that you see here are they're just on top of the battery in case one of these vents, I'll show you one of these vents, in case one of these vents decides to seep, and there's something on top of the battery to also catch it. Again, the leaks on the top of the battery, not an issue. It's primarily just this seepage that has started around these posts. But this solar system is growing over the years, and started as a 12-volt system initially, and then moved up to a 48-volt system when we went to a much bigger inverter. Now, going with a 48-volt system meant the batteries had to be reconfigured, and then the solar panels outside in relation to the charge controllers that you'll see here also had to be reconfigured as well. Now, the benefit of that is that we now use less charge controllers than we were before. We used to have upwards of 5 of these outback charge controllers. We now do what we need to do off and FlexMax 80 that you see here on this wall, and another FlexMax 60, which is this unit here. So we're running the same 6 kilowatt array off just 2 FlexMax 80 charge controllers. So a lot of this equipment you see on the wall as part of this upgrade process will be removed. We're going to consolidate this down, clean up a lot of this unused equipment, which again was just due to the consolidation and getting everything down to 2 charge controllers. But generally, what I like to do is that you'll see that each charge controller, its output is fused and also has a battery disconnect switch. So that controller, if it needs to be serviced, can be completely isolated from the system by hitting the switch there to disconnect from the battery. And as the PV input comes in before it hits the charge controllers, it goes into one of these disconnect switches, which are basically, you'll see them used a lot on the exterior of houses for air conditioning disconnects and such. They also work good for DC, at least in this case. What these are used for, again, should this charge controller need to be maintenanced or be swapped out, that can be easily pulled, and thus disconnecting it from the solar array that's outside. without having to go all the way to the outside and pull the actual breakers. We can do the disconnecting here. So it makes it a little bit more convenient to deal with. But again, a lot of this excess equipment will be pulled. One of the other things that will also be removed is initially when we put the house air conditioning on the system, we put in an additional interlock in. And what this basically allows us to do is, should the solar system completely fail or not generate enough solar to run the house and the air conditioning, it gave us the ability to take just the air conditioner and switch it over to grid power and pull it off of the sub panel that you see here that the solar is tied into. Now we're going to be removing this disconnect because we've only used it a few times, and actually we found it much easier. The inverter that you see on the wall here is an Outback model. It's on the model there. And this is an 8 kilowatt unit. And when the air conditioning is running, along with all the other household items that do run off of solar, we've seen about maybe 3.4, 3.5 kilowatts. So the unit is very much oversized for our purpose, but that was done deliberately. And 8 kilowatt, this particular Outback model, is actually made up of 2 separate 4,000 watt inverters, and it'll share the load between those two 4,000 watt units, as well as should an internal one fail because of our usage, we can have one inverter internally have an issue and still be able to run off the one remaining unit. So it was also picked out for redundancy. On the outside of here, as well as on the exterior, when we shoot that video, the circuit breakers and the combiner boxes will also run these midnight solar lightning arresters. Not really surge suppressors, or more transient suppressors. There we go. That would be the correct term. And this one filters the input coming off the main breaker panel into this unit, and this top one here filters I shouldn't say filters, but has a transient suppressor on it for the output of the 8K inverter itself. So one on the input coming from the grid power, and one on the output of the inverter itself. And what you can see here is just that there's this standard battery bank box. Not really a box, more just a collection of shelves. And each string of 4 is a 48 volt string, top, bottom, and a third string located over here. And they all get paralleled together. Each string currently has a 250 amp class T fuse, as well as again, battery disconnect. And the battery disconnects are there so you can quickly just take a string, turn it off, and cut its ability to then be interconnected away from the other, cut off the ability for it to be connected to the other strings. Again, just for should something happen or you have to pull a string out for maintenance, it's a bit more easily done. Again, this will all be cleaned up and kind of done up a little bit different way. You'll see the main bus bars, a couple of sets of bus bars here as the equipment itself terminates. And then there's a final set of bus bars that you can kind of see there in the back. And that's where the charge controllers tie in. And that is our shunt for the Outback battery monitor, as well as the Victron monitor. I do run a Victron monitor as well as the Outback monitor. The Outback monitor tends not to be nearly as accurate as the Victron monitor is, so I do like to run both because it gives you a nice comparison between the two. But again, the AGMs that you see here will be all completely removed, changed out to a lipo, not a lipo, but a lithium iron phosphate battery bank. And a lot of this equipment will be cleaned up, as you will see. We will move and mount in another enclosure which will contain a shunt trip disconnect for the battery array, again because we're going over to a lithium based battery system. If the battery management system for that new lithium bank sees a setting that's out of tolerance, it will shunt trip the DC breaker and basically take the entire battery bank out of the loop. It's there for safety. If you're going to be getting into or looking into switching your battery bank out with lithium, highly suggest that you do treat lithium with a fair deal of respect that it is deserved and have your appropriate safety measures in place. A lot of what you see here, again, like I said, will be cleaned up. It'll be reorganized and done a bit better than it's being done now. And we'll bring you along kind of as we get to each piece of this, but it'll be nice to get these nice big heavy old batteries out of here and go with lithium, which will be lighter than the overall units you see here, significantly longer cycle life, and also the internal resistance on lithium batteries is significantly lower than what you see here for the lead acid batteries. So it'll make easier to be able to get power in for recharging and then be able to get power out. Now we'll cover that as we get to it, but that is a key deal with lithium. Due to that lower internal resistance and being able to get power easier in and easier out, it's another reason why you should treat it with a fair deal of respect and be mindful of how you're handling those batteries. Due to that internal resistance being so much lower and being able to get so much power out, be very careful. Make sure that you don't get yourself in a situation where you potentially short out a lithium battery. And again, we'll kind of dig into that as we get to those particular videos, but this is again just an overview of the way it's currently laid out. You'll see 3 charge controllers there, the 4th one there. When we come back to this, will be consolidated down to 2. We're going to remove again the excess equipment that was no longer needed due to going from a 12 volt system to a 48 volt system. We'll be getting rid of that disconnect or transfer panel for the air conditioning system and just tying it directly into the solar panel only. And again, it's large in fact due to the type of inverter being used, being Outback. Outback has the ability of being able to blend your power, or this particular unit will blend power between grid and solar. So if you're not making enough solar, it'll substitute and pull power from the grid to meet your power needs. So there really isn't a need, once we got into this long term, to have the ability to take just the air conditioner and switch it over to grid and grid only, because we can do that via the inverter itself. And that'll be it for this one. And we'll bring you back after we get a lot of this other equipment tore off out of here and done away with. I'll talk to you later. Bye.